Welcome to a new series from GMW Skate About. Nickname for this is #GoFurther. The idea is it's a few presentations on awards and opportunities for Explorers and Network. The idea is that it's a bit more than just your regular programme, and it'll just give you an insight from myself, who've done a few of these, to give you an idea of what they're about from a personal level, instead of just seeing the writing. And you get a bit more knowledge in depth and experience of why it's worth doing them and what the benefits are. So this particular presentation is about the World Scout Moot. So I went to the World Scout Moot as part of the UK contingent in 2017 to Iceland, and the next one is in 2021 in Ireland. So 2 years time, they'll be up their applications soon, so I'll just give you a bit of information about that. So what is a World Scout Moot? World Scout Moot is an event for senior branches, traditionally called Rovers. In the UK it's called Network, of up to 5,000 people, so it's about a tenth the size of a jamboree, a bit less. This is literally off the World Scout Moot website, so it's just word for word. The idea is young adults in scouting meet together and improve their understanding of citizens of the world, so there's a lot of communication, a lot of talking, and it's very good in that respect. So like I said, it's 18 to 25. If you're older than that, you can go as IST, like you can for jamborees, but you have to be over 26 for that. So when? It's every 4 years generally. It has changed previously, but now they've got back into more rhythm. Every 2 years in between the jamboree. So jamboree, 2 years, moot, 2 years jamboree, 2 years moot. So what does it look like? So really there's two parts to it. Main parts, there's your expedition centres, so you choose based on what your interests are, general interests, abilities, physical abilities, things like that. And then you get taken to an expedition centre and you do activities based on what your chosen area is or selected area is. And then you do Althingi, which in Icelandic is like means like a parliament, like a gathering, and that's like the main event. So as you can see on the timetable from the previous moot, you spend a good 4 days-ish at your exhibition centre, then you travel, and then you have International Day, you learn all about local cultures on the main moot site, and then you have the main moot programme, and then you leave. So there's plenty to pack in, and it's very good in that respect. You also might have pre-event, a day or so with contingent, and post-event, a day or so with contingent or actual tours of the place if you pay a bit extra for that. So where did we go? So this is a map of Iceland. Every name on that map is an expedition centre that people went to. So we flew into Reykjavik, spent an evening with the UK contingent, stayed together, and then in the morning we were at the opening ceremony before we all got shipped out to these places. So one of the expedition centres was in Reykjavik, so people got to see more of the city that way. Mine, I wanted something a little bit more different, a bit adventurous, was Akureyri. So that is probably one of the furthest away on the north coast. Got to see a lot of sights that you wouldn't see elsewhere. Then you've got further down, you've got Skaftafell, which is one of the mountains, and then you've got more ones near the coast and things like that. And then this next hour was quite a rough generalisation, but around that area was where the actual main National Scout campsite was, where we had the main moot. Try not to say jamboree because I was in a jamboree a few months ago. It might be easy for me to get confused. Okay, so we flew. There's different travel options, you can choose your own, but I chose to go with the UK contingent. We all flew out from Manchester, some flew from Scotland, some flew from London. Got at Reykjavik at a very similar time. Bus from the airport to Reykjavik, 20 minutes, half an hour. And then we stayed together, and then we were there for the opening ceremony together. So there was a lot of mixed, lots of food and stuff for lots of people to eat, so that was good. Especially how expensive it was over there, doing that as a contingent was a lot more cost effective. Actually in the yellow there was Lisa, who I ended up in a patrol with, which is a bit of a coincidence she's on this picture because I didn't know her then. So this was our first night's accommodation at Sports Hall. Bearing in mind Reykjavik was a bit touristy, accommodation for 100 people. It was very fine because we all had our own sleeping bags and mats for one night, it doesn't really matter. But yeah, it was a good laugh because lots of talking, lots of fun and games. Even in the botanical gardens, the UK contingent had organised us to go into this sort of greenhouse cafe area, and we got hot chocolate and Icelandic donuts. That was quite good, and that was a nice little social, kind of settling a bit to the country. So this was the opening ceremony. So this is just a small view of the building where the opening ceremony in. Obviously, there's a few people in there. We were absolutely crammed in there. In terms of our numbers, a lot of us standing, sitting in the hall. It was the biggest indoor area in Iceland they had, because it's not a massive place. There's about 320-ish thousand people live there, so that's nothing compared to the size of the UK in terms of population. So that was the biggest space they had, and we definitely used it up. So we all got bussed out to our expedition centres. We pretty much used every single coach they had in the country, because there was that many of us there. We increased the population by 2% or something ridiculous, or 0.2% while we were there, which is unbelievable. So our expedition centre, so when we go to our expedition centre, you are split up into a tribe, which is, I can't remember, it's 3 or 4 patrols, and patrols 10 people. And then because of that, you then, I think there's 9 of us there, 1, 2, 3, 4. Yeah, so there's 1 person missing that day, but, and then you get to know them. So they're all mixed countries, which is great. So our actual expedition centre, Akureyri, was the only other sort of official scout campsite, which was really nice. So there's me set up with my tent. But ironically, we'd all packed for cold weather, even though it's summer because it's Iceland. But it was like a mini heat wave, so it was like 20 odd degrees there, which they don't normally get, so that was nice for us to enjoy kind of quite mild but warm weather, which is really good. So in our expedition centre there was like a big hall, which is used for if there's bad weather, or for used as a cafe if you wanted to buy some food rather than make it yourself. But we basically, each tribe had our own like double burner, and then we had to kind of muck in and sort out who was cooking what. So it was a good experience. There's people lining up for food. As you can tell, it's a lot for 30-40 people. I think it was about 30 people. But we did a good job considering we didn't meet each other beforehand. Iceland being summer, I would have loved to see the Northern Lights, but the right picture is 2 o'clock in the morning versus about 5 o'clock in the evening on the left, so that kind of shows you the difference in light. But it was good because you got to stay up talking and it wasn't too dark, and I can sleep pretty easy anyway. But so the idea is you're in an unfamiliar environment, but each of these tents here is each tribe's tent. So in Akureyri we had several, was it 9 or 10 tribes, 35 people, so a few hundred people, and over the course of the different expedition centres that then built up to your main 5,000. So on our expedition centre we got to go and see a lot of the natural sights in the north of Iceland. So this was like a blue lake, amazing scenery, lots of like thermal vents and things you don't get in the UK. So on the left is again scouts I've never met before, but everyone was friendly. That's actually a fault line between 2 tectonic plates, so one was on one continental plate, one was on the other, and then there's volcanic formations and things like that. Places used for Game of Thrones. So really on these moots you get to really explore the different locations and environment that you wouldn't normally do. So one of the activities we did within our patrol was we got to basically hike up this hill that would be a ski resort, probably 8 months of the year, something like that, 6 months of the year. When we went there was hardly any snow at all, so we had a nice hike up, which was great. We got to see the chalet on top, or near the top. That was good exercise to get to know each other. There was a little bit of snow there, not very clean, but for some of the people, these guys were, as you can tell, from Brazil. For them it was quite a big moment because where they live in the southern hemisphere, they hardly ever get snow, if at all, and this was the first time these people had ever seen snow. So although that's something you take for granted, it was quite amazing being there for them, and the first time they could feel it and touch it and experience it, which is quite a surreal thing, but it was a big moment for them and it was nice to be part of it and take the picture. Again, so this is us, my patrol. We wandered down the ski slope on the way down. We actually collected rubbish. That was part of the activity for the day, was as well as having the hike. We contributed to the community, and a lot of rubbish is dropped during the winter season, and then obviously when the snow melts it gets put around everywhere, so we just collected bits and pieces, bottles, plastic, etc. Southend is a very, in terms of climate change and the environment, is very keen on that, so we were happy to contribute to that as well. Reduce our own footprint of how we've affected the land. So Akureyri, we actually got to explore the town as well. The great thing with the Icelandics was that they opened the country to us, which is amazing. They give us all free bus travel on the public buses, and even free use of all the swimming baths and the thermal baths, which is unbelievable. The Akureyri, one of the main things for them was the traffic lights have a heart on the red. So that was a nice little touch, a bit unique, just something different. So this is a couple of pictures of us exploring of Akureyri on the right. Although the picture's not great, it's a picture of one of the main churches, like a centre point for the town. And on the left is one of the big architectural buildings. I think that was for a tourism thing. This is a picture of my patrol again. We went to this, what's a secret, but it was like an ice cream shop that everyone raved about. So we went to get ice cream together, which was quite cool. Explored the botanical gardens, had a good walk around the town. We also went to a fish and chip shop, which was quite cool because obviously it's known for being quite a British thing, but everyone got to enjoy it, and that was really good. Again, this is a picture of the baths. So most of the towns in Iceland have something like this or slightly smaller, where it is an outdoor pool, but it's geothermally or heated. So you get nice hot baths. It's obviously in winter that'd be quite nice as well, but it was a nice sort of soak and cleaning as well as the shower gel on the campsite, but something different just to freshen you up. So then obviously after we'd done all that, we went to the main camp. The thing is, this is a small view from up one of the hills of some of the camping areas. As you can see, each of them white tents near the smaller tents are each patrol's tent. Each tribe's tent. So that's the name of the campsite. Can't pronounce it, I don't think I'll try, but yeah, just one of the nice sort of pictures. Kind of like a jamboree. If there's a big supermarket on site, each tribe has so many money or currency or credits to spend. You go around, you bear in mind what everyone's dietary requirements are, what pots and pans you have, and then you go and spend your money. And generally they're quite generous, so things like yogurts were quite in high demand because they were Icelandic yogurts. Ski is really nice. But yeah, plenty of healthy options. There was a special section for vegan, everything, non-dairy, you name it, vegetarian, which is really good, gluten-free, so that really helped with everyone's diets. The one that we had to do, spaghetti bolognese for people intolerant to wheat, tomato, and meatballs, so that was like mince, so that was an interesting combination. Anyway, more about the Moot. The actual Moot itself had these sort of showcase tents of various things. On the left was one for the World Scout Jamboree in America, which I was lucky enough to go to this year. That was one of the things that kind of set me thinking about it. The guy on the left there was one of the main development team for that in the white shirt. He was actually at the event, and I spoke to him and said, look, one of the reasons I'm here is because you were at the Moot, and he was quite impressed with that story. On the right there is for Ireland basically, so you get to do a little bit of VR and a few things like that and see what Ireland's like. So that'll be the next Moot, so that was already gaining interest and gaining momentum for that, and that's only 2 years away now, or less than 2 years away, so that should be exciting. So get a lot of showcasing of various World Scouting. It's quite an interesting place to be. Also as well, there was these like a big World Scouting tent, so you got to learn about various projects World Scouting's involved in, from Rovers 100 to Messengers of Peace to various other things, and then you go around and you get awards, and there's also talks being held there by various awesome World Scouting people, and you really felt part of the community of World Scouting, which was really good. One of the other programme areas was sort of all about faith and belief, so you got to explore that. You got to look at sort of Nordic cultures with the gods. Also as well, there was also sorts of Hindu, Buddhism, Sikh, you name it, Christian. Different people from around the world in Scouting give the kind of, showed a little bit of their faith, and you got to explore it and understand it a bit. which is good. It's sharing, but it's none of it sort of forced on you, which is really nice. You get a real good kind of sense of everyone's interested in each other and wanting to learn. As well as that, there was quite a lot of like physical activities. There was like a Renty Park area, which was great. Even though everyone's over 18, you get to have a go on all these inflatables. There was the traditional stuff like climbing wall. You also got to learn about the Icelandic search and rescue, which is I can't remember if it's a completely volunteer donation funded, which is impressive if it is. But they have these, obviously the conditions in winter get quite harsh. So they've got 4-wheel drive, quad bikes, the track things as well, which are quite impressive. So it really shows what they're capable of. We got to learn about the dog. We got a dog rescue demonstration as well. So you really learn about the culture of the country and things like that. So this is a picture from International Day. Each country, or most of the countries, had opportunities to. They have like a special tent area, and they showcase about the country. So this looks like Argentina, I think. Learn a bit about their culture. The UK had one. A lot of countries. And this was Trinidad and Tobago. They had the steel drums, which was really great to hear, especially when someone can play them well. This was the Swedish tent, so some of the guys in my patrol were on that picture. Swedish, so they were showing like coffee and cinnamon rolls and things like that. Some of the things that they traditionally associate with Sweden, so that was really good. Again, so this is kind of another picture. So on the left is some of my patrol. Obviously the two guys on either end. Some of the Swedish guys I met in my patrol, and they were again on the World Scout Jamboree in America, which is the right picture. So 2 years later, other side of the world, we met up, and obviously I'm dwarfed by them in the picture, but it was really good to meet up with them, and that part of them connections made at the World Scout Moot carried on, and them friendships have stayed, and hopefully in the future we plan to do more stuff and possibly even exchanges with scouts. So it's great to see that the connections at the Moot that you make, these people you meet, stays on, and because you're with people you never met before. Even Lisa, like I said before, who's to the right of me on the picture, she was in girl guiding. I would have never met her before, even though she's from the UK. So you meet a lot of people you never meet before, and you really sort of get to learn a lot about each other's cultures and practices, which is quite fantastic, really. Some of my favourite memories, there was a nice hill next to the campsite. It was also next to a lake, but we literally got to hike up there whenever we pleased. It was half an hour up, half an hour down, if that. And that was really good. We got to kind of, get amazing views of Iceland, see the whole campsite, and kind of share an activity together, which was really good. There's another nice picture that I managed to get of the flag at the top, and a few countries put their flags up because why not? So this is a professional picture taken by someone. Unfortunately, I got the name, but so that's majority of the people when they're together at the kind of big ball of the campsite for like the shows. Obviously not as big as something like the Jamboree, but just shows you, how many countries are there, and it's amazing being together as in one joint thing in scouting. So after the closing ceremony, the UK contingent, this is a kind of horrible selfie, but you could opt to do a post tour. So we left as UK contingent, and then some of us stayed on in Reykjavik, and then went off to various places for post tour. So for mine, I chose to do the Golden Circle, which is kind of your more generic touristy things, but it was bucket list stuff for me. I wanted to tick off and to see a bit more of the country in terms of its sights. So it was a glacier, so one of the things was you could do a full day walking in them, but I got close enough to pretty much touch it, which was good enough for me. When you hear about these things melting and breaking off in chunks, it's very hard to imagine physically, but when you see this, and the fact that the actual walking point from where the bus drops off is 20 minutes, and it used to be next to the bus, just shows you how much things like this retreat, and you get a good sense of perspective on these things. So that's a geyser. That is actually the geyser, the one that's called geyser, which is obviously like a thermal vent that blows up steam and stuff, which is quite good to see. A lot of waterfalls as well, truly kind of amazing kind of spectacles. That's Gullfoss, I think it's called, but that's the biggest one in Iceland with the most water I've ever seen in one place go rushing down. It's quite incomprehensible. There's a Black Sea. You see things like on Star Wars and various other movies where not the Black Sea, but the black beaches where they have the black sand, and it's quite a unique effect. So obviously quite proud of me Chris Butty there, which was good. and finally another selfie of the Blue Lagoon hot springs, which is a man-made lagoon, but it uses basically spur thermal water they've got from a nearby power plant. So it's reusing. It's all clean. It's all natural. It's got lots of minerals in. So that for me was a bucket list thing. It was quite expensive, but again, it is part of the whole experience of the country, and it was great to share that with people from the UK contingent. So finally, on the last kind of morning, got to explore Reykjavik, see the church, see some of the areas that you would normally see, architecture, things like that. Kind of explore the city, and that is the biggest city in Iceland, so it's the capital, so it's good to see that. So I've got a few highlights. So one of them for me was kayaking on the lake with my patrol, so I got to know them. It was near the end of the Moot, and we got to go on the lake kayaking together, and there was a lovely sunset, and it was just a really enjoyable activity. It made me really grateful to be there, and then in the summer, and the fact I'd chosen to do that and go out of my comfort zone because I didn't know anybody, but it was worth it. We were treated to, in Iceland, some absolutely gorgeous sunsets in the evening. Obviously it stayed pretty light for most of the evening, but the sunsets lasted a lot longer because of that, so you got a couple of hours of that, which was amazing. There's obviously lots of entertainment on the stage. This picture just shows that, regardless of what country you're from, we all had a good sing-song and laugh along. And the cover band was quite good, the Icelandic cover band, all songs we knew, which is really good. And then in comparison, on Moots you get things like this, so there's not a lot of wood in Iceland because they've not as many trees historically. So when there was a fire, everyone sat down, and there's people from two different countries, so you didn't know each other. One might have a ukulele, one might have a guitar, they'd both be strumming along, and we'd be singing things like Wonderwall by Oasis and all sorts of random scout songs as well. And it was just kind of a real mixing of cultures and scouting, which is really good. There'd be songs you'd be learning, songs you'd be telling you verses to, things like that, so a real sense of community. Now the picture, so this is Nicholas, who's in my patrol who I know, and he's speaking to, I can't remember his name, but he's a Jordanian scout. We were discussing different cultures of scouting, and we were sat around a fire. And again, it's just that, it's not necessarily about doing the activities, but it's the chance to stop and talk to people who have a common interest, and learn a bit about their culture, and maybe have a bit more respect, and have a new perspective when you leave on that culture, that maybe not everyone's like you thought they were, maybe people are better, maybe they've got it worse off than you might have thought, just things like that. So this is my tribe, so this is all of us. So just briefly in the picture, you've got British, including that you've got Scottish, English, Welsh. In this picture, you've got United States of America, you've got Germany, you've got Chile, you've got Portugal, you've got Brazil, you've got the Netherlands, you've got Jordan, you've got Sweden, Australia, I think I said, Iceland. There's a girl from Iceland, which was great to see her in her home country. You've got Belgium, so you've got Switzerland, you've got Germany again, I've already said that, but you've got a real island, you've got a real mix of countries, and that was really good to experience that, because you won't get anywhere else. And if you look at our faces, we're all actually really happy to be there, and it was a great experience, one I'll never forget. So that's kind of me going over my experience quite a lot, but more for the reason you're watching this, what's the benefits and what's the reason for this. So the World Scout Moot can count as one of the international, the ICV sections of the Queen Scout Award. That's worth bearing in mind, that's a big section. Obviously there's planning and stuff beforehand, and it is a big event, but it does count one of them sections off. Like I said, you get a deeper understanding of World Scouting, different cultures, you meet potential lifelong friends, people I've met I still keep in contact with, we still have a laugh, and for future scouting, I might be speaking to these people for things, for other awards, Scouts of the World, etc. And that's worth having. Sense of independence for me, it was a stepping stone for the international opportunities. Doing that, then I felt okay, well I can go as IST to America, even though I don't know anyone from the UK necessarily. I'll just go and do that, and I did, and it was a great opportunity. So it's a great thing to do. It's probably a good stepping stone up from being on a jamboree where you're all from the same area, so whether that's Manchester or anywhere else. You go and you might you can choose a buddy if you want to, but at the same time everyone's friendly, and you actually come on leaps and bounds in terms of meeting people. So yeah, that's one of the reasons the Moot's really good. It's a slightly smaller scale than Jamboree, so you don't make as much of an impact. You know, although you're in the scouting community, you are visiting there a little bit more. It's not as, I don't know what the word is, but you're not kind of intervening as much. But yeah, it's still really good. I'm going to put additional links below for the World Scout website, the Queen Scout Award, and the Moot website as well, so you can get an idea. I also did a video, just my quick briefing of the Moots, so that will be below as well. If anyone has any questions, please use the email address below, which is youth.commissioner@gmwscouts.org.uk, or comment on the video and I'll try and answer them. But yeah, this has just been a quick video to try and give you an idea of what the Moot's like, and hopefully kind of get some people interested in the future ones. So thanks for watching, and I'll see you in the next video.